Subscribe to our channel and also press the bell icon to never miss an update from Kautilya's Fincast.
Welcome to Kautilya's Fincast for February 16, 2021 to February 28, 2021.
Let's begin with corporate news.
The company that sells Whisper menstrual hygiene products and Ariel detergents will also actively work with women-promoted businesses over the next few years. Most of the companies are trying to offload loans made last year to help them survive the pandemic and lock in lower rates. Daniel Rudnicki Schlumberger. India and Mexico were two of the top-performing markets in 2020 outside US for Walmart Incorporations, with e-commerce firm Flipkart and digital payments firm PhonePe benefiting from accelerated digital adoption in the country. The 3-year agreement with News Corp also includes the development of a subscription platform, the sharing of ad revenue and meaningful investments in innovative video journalism by Google's video sharing site YouTube. Paytm Money said that during the early access program, the company witnessed massive interest coming from Tier 3, Tier 4, and the rest of India towns in F&O trade. IKEA, which opened its first store in India in 2018 in Hyderabad followed by one in Mumbai in 2020, said it would develop the new site into a mall anchored by an IKEA store. Maruti Suzuki India Limited expects sales of its natural gas-powered cars to jump 59% in the next fiscal year, as more buyers embrace the greener fuel, amid soaring petrol prices, and the wider availability of compressed natural gas. Drug maker, Lupin said it has received approval from the US health regulator to market droxidopa capsules, used to treat dizziness. The product will be manufactured at the company's Nagpur-based facility. Mercedes-Benz USA LLC issued a recall for tens of thousands of sports utility cars, saying a fault can cause the vehicle to move to one side, increasing the risk of a crash. In an interview on France Inter Radio, Chief Executive Guillaume Faury also urged European nations to ease border restrictions that have crippled air travel across the continent during the coronavirus crisis. Foxconn Technology Group's new EV platform is expected to help launch vehicles later this year, a company official said, signifying major progress in the Taiwanese electronics giant's push into the automotive space. Matter will be launching its lithium-ion batteries for solar and renewable management by April, which will be followed by its first electric motorcycle, closer to Diwali this year. Realty firm Mahindra Lifespace Developers Limited will invest around 500 crore to build a new housing project in Pune, as it seeks to expand business amid strong recovery in residential real estate market. The consortium, consisting of asset management firm Kulrock Capital and entrepreneur Murari Lal Julan, who are currently awaiting to restart operations at Jet Airways Limited, will continue to operate the airline as a publicly listed company. The demerger may pave the way for a stake sale in the O2C unit to new investors. RIL was exploring opportunities to bring in strategic or other investors in the O2C business. JP Morgan said it will share the assets and fees generated from the offering with the banks that distribute it, and will donate 12.5% of the annual revenue it makes from management fees to efforts aimed at boosting community development. The chip shortage will materially erode margins and could lower expected automotive earnings before interest and taxes by as much as $2 billion for General Motors and $2.5 billion for Ford, the ratings agency said. The platform has also expanded its offerings to sell apparel and electronics in some parts of the country. Orders for electronics are currently fulfilled through Reliance Digital. Boeing was working with the FAA to strengthen protective engine covers. Investigators have attributed the Denver incident to a fan blade that broke off soon after takeoff due to metal fatigue and apparently breached the engine cover, known as a cowling. Inbrew will own the plants that have a combined capacity of over 600 hectoliters, along with the entire business operations in India. Volkswagen AG expects profitability to improve this year, banking on a continued recovery from the pandemic, even as many economies wrestle with high infection rates and a global chip shortage weighs on the industry. Micromax, which has created Rs 500 crore war chest to invest across its operations, is also scaling up its smartphone manufacturing capacity in the country to meet the strong demand it is witnessing for its products. Chinese social media titan ByteDance Limited plans to hire an additional 13,000 employees this year for its education unit as the company aims to grab a bigger slice of the country's booming online learning market. The auto major achieved the milestone as a batch of products comprising Espresso, Swift and Vita Arbreza left for South Africa from the Mundra port in Gujarat. IKEA India is also aiming to have around 12% of sales from kids' range of products in the coming years. IKEA said the India Toy Fair would help it connect with new partners and understand the ecosystem.
Let's begin with market news.
US stocks registered all-time highs as optimism over the economic recovery sweeps across markets worldwide. Global bonds extended the worst start to a year since 2013. The government has raised 310 crore by tendering its shares in the buyback program undertaken by Engineers India Limited. SEBI eases IPO norms for any company with post-issue market capital of above 1 trillion rupees. The IPO size is required to be 10,000 crore, plus 5% of the incremental market capital amount beyond 1 trillion rupees. The largest cryptocurrency rose almost 6% to set another all-time high after breaching $50,000 for the first time a day earlier. IndusInd International Holdings Limited plans to get itself listed overseas by September, having completed its capital raise through a rights issue. Shares of Dish TV India gained as much as 6% after the company's board approved raising up to 1,000 crore. SBI Cards and Payment Services Limited joined the 1 trillion rupee market cap club after its shares surged nearly 23%. The stock hit an all-time high of 1,095 rupees on BSE. As Nifty did well in the month of January, broker industry saw more investor coming in with more than 17 lakh Demat account being created in just a matter of 1 month. GameStop mania may be over, but the ripples continue weeks later as newly minted retail traders flirt with various objects of affection. There were silver, marijuana stocks and Dogecoin. 8 of the top 10 most valued companies together witnessed an erosion of 1,23,670.47 crore from market valuation in third week of February, in line with a bearish broader market trend. Gold demand in India witnessed a surge as prices dropped close to 8-month lows. Gold futures on MCX settled near 46,190 rupees. After a sharp drop of about 1,200 rupees, the Indian rupee is turning a corner, as massive inflows into the nation's stock markets helped the currency break past the central bank's intervention barrier. Oil prices will rally sooner and higher than previously thought, as the global energy demand recovery outpaces the supply response from the OPEC Plus alliance, shale and Iran. The London Copper Exchange climbed as much as 3.1% to $9,187 a ton, the highest since September 2011, also helped by a weaker dollar. NSE revised the index maintenance guidelines, effective from 31st of March, 2021. Dividend yield percent will be calculated by taking into consideration the total equity dividend of each company, on a rolling 12 months basis. Elon Musk is no longer the world's richest person after Tesla Incorporation shares slid 8.6%, wiping $15.2 billion from his net worth. HDFC Bank Limited saw its market capitalization cross 9 trillion rupees, after shares of the lender hit a record high of 1,635 rupees apiece in early deals on the BSE. Stocks turned in dramatic gains of nearly 2% in a late surge, capping a turbulent day that saw trading on the NSE disrupted for nearly 4 hours because of technical glitch. Regulator SEBI is in active discussions with various stakeholders to bring in greater granularity in disclosures by listed companies in ESG space, and would soon issue relevant guidelines. Zerodha is facing a backlash from traders who saw their equity positions abruptly closed during an exchange glitch, amidst criticism that a lack of communication from the country's top bourse caused losses. The largest cryptocurrency slumped as much as 21% in February's last week, the most since March. The wider Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index, tracking Bitcoin, Ether and 3 other cryptocurrencies, is down 23%. Sovereign Gold Bond Scheme 2020-21 Series 12 will be open for subscription from March 1 to March 5, 2021. The issue price of sovereign gold bond has been fixed at Rs 4,662 per gram of gold. According to SEBI, infrastructure investment trusts and real estate investment trusts can conduct annual meetings of their unit holders through video conferencing and other audio-visual means till December 31st. Foreign portfolio investors invested a net Rs 23,663 crore into equities in Indian markets in February on account of positive sentiment due to the Union Budget 2021-22 and strong third-quarter earnings. With the need for more supply evident, traders expect the OPEC Plus coalition, led by Saudi Arabia and Russia, will agree to increase production, reversing some of the output cuts made last year.
Let's begin with economy news.
For BJP supporters, these laws give farmers the freedom to decide where and to whom they sell their crops. These supporters portray farm protests as a Westerners inspiring conspiracy. They have been called for economic warfare against India and certain Indian companies. Their assets in India and outside are made to targets for physical as well as coordinated actions. Witnessing the green shoots of recoveries, the RBI revises its forecast of economic growth for current financial year to -7.5% in December 2020, compared to its earlier forecast of -9.5%. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, approved the signing of the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement between India and Mauritius on February 17, 2021. The nation's 28 states, which account about 60% of total government expenditure on infrastructure and asset creation, are hamstrung by declining tax revenues and cost of fighting COVID-19 pandemic. The meet was organized in honor of Demeke Mekonnen, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia. This was the first physical high-level interaction organized by the Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India post-pandemic. The dialogue between India and the European Union covered all the dimensions including the factors of economic, political, security, environment, research and innovation, trade and investment in the economy. Amid a pandemic year, Coast Guard has been deploying 50 ships and 12 aircraft every day, to maintain which would join the East Region Fleet, for patrolling the country's exclusive economic zone. WhatsApp post-privacy policy update said it has conveyed to the Indian government that it remains as committed to the protection of privacy of personal conversations across the country. While Frost & Sullivan estimates an 8.8% contraction of its GDP for 2020-21, there are strong signs of rebounds with a 10.5% expansion anticipated in 2021-22. The flotation is the boldest economic measure that has been taken by the transitional government that has ruled the African country after a popular uprising led to the military's overthrows. Indian IT services providers are seeing increase in the tractions for the low-code, no-code technology solutions, as of which clients look to build and make customize their own applications. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has clarified that Indian tech companies and startups, which are eyeing an overseas listing, would not be considered as listed companies in the India. India on Monday offered a $100 million line of credit to the Mauritius to procure the defense assets, while the two countries signed a comprehensive economic cooperation partnership agreement. The unlocking of the Indian economy saw domestic demand in benefiting from the festive tailwinds, pent-up in consumption, pick-up in capacity utilization, and resumptions in the sectoral activities. With the year-on-year performance basis of a majority of the early available economic indicators recordings is in a loss of the momentum was relative to the previous month. The annual performance of about 9 of 15 indicators tracked by ICRA weakened compared to improvements seen in December, on account of fading of favorable base effect, supply-side issues and price hikes. Only way to unlock value is PSU's liberation from government control. Growth will continue to be consumption-led. Markets are also valuing consumer-facing firms more than those in engineering and capital goods, projecting that the GDP may have returned to the black in the last quarters of the calendar year 2020. Full-year growth in real terms may be at a negative 6.8%. Activity in India's dominant services sector expanded for a fourth straight month in January, with the pace of new work and business activity both quickening from a month ago. the world's financial leaders agreed to maintain expansionary policies to help economies survive effects of COVID-19, and committed to a more multilateral approach to twin coronavirus and economic crises. A positive reading will lower the pressure on RBI, which did most of heavy lifting in the past year through 115 basis points of interest rate cuts and ensuring liquidity. The Indian economy emerged out of technical recession in October to December 2020. Post-lockdown situation caused due to pandemic, and stimulus grew 0.4% with improvement in manufacturing, construction and agriculture. Household income, the amount Americans received from wages, investments and government programs, rose 10% in January from previous month. Increase was second largest on records, eclipsed only by last April's gain. Divergence Q3 GDP growth with strong corporate earnings, GST collections and other high-frequency indicators data show that informal or unorganized sector still has not come out of COVID pain, even as the country unlocked in September 2020 post-pandemic stress. The Center for Monitoring Indian Economy's data shows that unemployment numbers rose to over 9% in Dec 2020.